So we've seen how powerful tanks can get, but we're gonna see how cursed they can get because the first tank available to us is a little raptor boy like this, who's a little smaller, but I feel like the progression is going to be relatively the same, although he survived better than I did. I don't like that. Oh, and there's a Triceratops right there. Well, either way, we're going to probably lose this. Not probably, definitely gonna lose. Oh, he's ranged? The Triceratops is a ranged unit? I figured that would be a tank. Well, either way, we get 36 monies, which we put into food production, so hopefully we can get more raptors out there. Let's send 3 out there to begin with, which is just shy of one-shotting all these raptor guys on their side, but we can get 4 out there now, just to make a lot of money before they inevitably tear our cave down. Oh, and there's the tank as a T-Rex. I should have figured that'd be the tank. I'm just wondering why Triceratops is the ranged one. You would think it'd be like a Dillosaurus, cause you know, it spits on that guy's face. Either way, 84 monies right now. I feel like doubling it to begin with. So we have a nice amount of money to work with right away, and we can already unlock the ranged unit, the Triceratops, and have a little bit over for food production, so we're getting half a food a second. We're just gonna wait till we have a good amount of food, send out 2 of these, and then 1 ranged unit. That should be good backup. And then we wait a little bit and we can do that again, 2 and then 1. And we can do relatively okay until the T-Rex shows up, because he just does not mess around, even though he's attacking with his little arms. I feel like this is giving a bit too much power to the T-Rex. But we're just gonna keep doubling the money, since it lets us get units faster, even though the money's a little bit askew right there. Either way, this means more food production for us, a nice amount of food production. So if we want to get 4 out there, we need 17 food. 3 of these, and then 1 of you. There we go. And we can actually get pretty far down the field before our units get wiped out. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Seeing how many raptors I can send out before I send out a Triceratops, that's a good amount right there. Maybe they'll have a chance against the T-Rex. And it actually looks like they kind of do. We just took out the T-Rex. That's a lot of money right there. But we can do that same thing again with all the raptors and then a Triceratops. When they have 2 Triceratops right here, can you imagine a T-Rex on treads? He'd be unstoppable. As he kind of is right now, because they're tearing down the cave again already. Wow. But we have 500 monies right now, which is enough to give us a T-Rex, and we can put the rest towards food production. It's a tank Rex. I love it. And I think I'm just gonna let the food production build up until we can get a few T-Rexes out in the field to begin with. We can get 3 out there, just like so. So they should really be able to bulldoze through everything. The only thing we have to really worry about is how much damage they get from the ranged units, which actually isn't much. We can just keep sending out more T-Rexes. This is the only unit we need now, especially for when another one shows up, but he gets bitten down to dust. It's like biting the dust, but you know, it's a good thing for us. And the Triceratops is really trying, but okay, multiple T-Rexes there. We're just gonna let the food build up until they get overrun, and they really don't progress until the last unit is taken out. That's interesting. But now we can send out 7 T-Rexes into the field. This is a force to be reckoned with. All the units take a little bit of damage, but we are really cruising through here. It looks to be an even match here until this guy shows up, but we are still building up a lot of money, so food. So we can send out 5 T-Rexes here. That should be enough, and I think that's the last wave. So we have won the Jurassic Age. At least we will as soon as these guys tear down the cave, which lets us get 880 money from that. Double it. So now we get to Egypt, which still takes a little bit of money to get there. Actually, not much. So let's just let the battle play out. Granted, we're gonna be fighting things that are way more strong than us, but we will put up as much of a fight as we can because we only need 200 monies to advance. And the T-Rexes do okay, I guess, on their own. Oh, but there's a scarab right there. Is that the ranged unit there? It probably is, which is a little bit strange, but let's see if we can. Oh, is this enough? I don't think it's enough before doubling it. It's gonna be just shy. We'll double it, so we don't have to worry about unlocking anything else except for Egypt. So we have an Anubis right there. That's probably the tank. But before we get to see how we stack against our peers, we have to get rid of the dinosaurs first. Sending out whatever these things are. I think they're sphinxes, because they don't have a nose, but they're able to do pretty well against the raptors on their own. Even so, they're gonna be overwhelmed pretty quickly, so we'll send out 2 of them, and 2 of them do pretty well against the T-Rex. They took them out all on their own. But let's see if these guys can hold out so I can get 3 of them in the field at once. Just seeing a little more. Okay, the food builds up pretty slow, so I don't think I can. Send out 2 right here, and then the third can kind of just trail behind them. because he slept in or something. Okay, it looks like the dinosaurs still have a little bit of oomph to them. So we'll just try to take out as many as we can before the pyramid falls, because that gives us 340 money before we double it, which we'll put all of it into food production. That gets us to 0.8 food per second. So we could probably get 4 of these out in the field before this guy does any real damage. And they're able to clean up the raptors pretty well. So we'll see how they do before they get overrun by T-Rexes and things. Even though the T-Rex is the one that gets overwhelmed, I love it. I think they actually win this. Just a few more hits to the base, and come on, little guy, you can do it. Oh, 12 health remaining. Well, we have 60 nice amounts of food, so they all go out there. And it's really up to no one's imagination that this era is done for. And after we double those earnings, there's a weird pink sludge on the coin there. Need to clean that off with something. But before that, we get scarabs, or Scarabus? It's a weird little name there, but that should do pretty well for us. We'll let the food build up so we can get 2 warriors and a scarab to begin with. And the scarab is a ranged unit. He just kind of opens up his face and then blah. I feel like this is going to be a pattern of things being ranged units when they really shouldn't be. But either way, they're quickly rolling up to our base, so we're going to need a little more units than this. At least we'll take out as many as we can. Oh, there's the Anubis. I didn't even get to see how strong he was. Well, at least we have more food production going on here. So we can build this up to 4 warriors and a scarab, just like so. Oh, I accidentally sent out 5. That's fine, although they seem to have slightly more health than I do, which I don't agree with. And of course the Pharaoh is here, Anubis thing, which he does so much damage, and there's so many of them, which sadly I can't get on myself even after doubling my money, so I will put all of it into food production for now. That way we can get more units out to the field. Let's just start with all warriors. And then 1 scarab. He really wants to attack, but they kind of die too fast. Well, this should be good though. At least good for a little bit before they roll up. And then we surprise them with 9 warriors, which is gonna need all of them to take out the Anubis. He's pretty strong, but he should go down after this, and that's a big payout. Right before the other one shows up, but now we can get the Anubis for ourselves. If we just wait a little bit, then we can get 3 of them initially. This should do pretty good. Although they still take a fair amount of damage from the warriors, and the ranged units do way more damage, but they can roll pretty strong on their own for a little bit, which they can take out a few warrior groups that are double the size of them, which I like. But now they're down. That's okay though, because we wait a little bit longer and we can send, I don't know how many that is, 6, which is working really well until it isn't. Just wait until we get enough funds for 7, and then they all go out. And I think that was the last of the Egypt waves. That's good, because we're getting the full payout of all the enemies, plus the pyramid going down, which is just over 6,000 monies. Good. And it looks like we're going to see Egypt versus medieval times. We'll just preemptively boost our food production initially, which if we keep sending out Anubises and only those, then they should hold up pretty well against the knights. Oh, they have wizards. I want a wizard. Oh wow, they are already pumping out the knights like crazy. I don't know if I'll be able to see what the giant unit is yet. Oh, there he is. It's a knight on horseback. Oh, that's cool. Unfortunately, the food production is getting expensive, but we are at 1.5 right now. So we just gotta wait and wait until we can hopefully get 4 Anubis out there. Yes, just before they get to the base. I feel like that might have been a bad call because we're not on good footing right here. But as those Anubis go down, we send out a few more. We need 16,000 to advance, so we'll be doing this a few times. Now it's just a matter of how much money we can make off these things before we have to level up. Since it all resets anyway, so we might as well get as much as we can. So we can send out 4 Anubises right here, which happened to shove the knight to one side of the track for whatever reason. But man, those wizards do some impressive damage to them. And they also do impressive damage to our base. Thankfully, another round like that should be all that we need to get to the next stage. So we can move on to the Middle Ages and then start to bully some poor dinosaurs again. So we just move on past these guys, get the food production leveled up as much as possible, because I kind of just want to overwhelm the Egyptians here with 3 knights to begin with. Or they're not really knights so much as they are crusaders, bringing some Days Vault energy to this game. Although it looks like the Anubis is able to keep up with them pretty well. Thankfully, we can send out 7 of them in a little bit. There we go. And that should be all the force that we need. Or maybe not, because there's 3 Anubis right there. So 7 more Crusaders it is. So we end up getting the maximum amount of money that we can from the Egyptians. And this money should be worth doubling. And that actually gets us enough to unlock the wizard. So we just get 3 knights to begin with, because that's their actual name, I guess. And then we send out a wizard so he can roll up and be like, I'm a wizard, and then blast them apart. And they still have a little bit more health than my units. I am not a fan of that. And I don't even have any dailies to unlock anything cool. All I do have is this one that gives me a little bit more health. It's different than last time because I kind of lost that save. But we'll just keep upgrading our food because we have a lot of money to use. So now we can send out 5 knights to begin with. And then hopefully they last long enough for a wizard to actually back them up properly, which it looks like they can. But the wizard is gonna quickly get overwhelmed, so we'll send out 2 knights and a wizard. That should do decently well. Oh, maybe not. The wizards have so much health, the knights can't even one-shot them. That is ridiculous. But at least we can get a lot more food production going. We'll wait till they're halfway and then get as many knights as we can before we send out a wizard. I know he's called a mage, but wizard is much more fun to say. But now we're at the point where we can sort of see how well our units stack up against the jouster. I'm not sure what his actual name is, but it looks like we can almost take him out, but at the expense of our castle and another knight rolling up on a horse tank thing. Is this like a tank on top of a tank? Or are they just like one unit? I'm not sure what the logic is here, but at least we have enough coins to unlock one of those for ourselves. It's a champion and get a whole bunch of food. Well, at least somewhat a whole bunch of food. It's starting to get expensive. Although we just wait a few turns, we can send out 2, 3 champions to begin with. This should do very good for us, especially if they're backed up by a mage. So now we're able to get pretty close to their castle. Actually, we're just get directly to their castle. Excellent. So we'll just stack up as many champions as we can here. Just gotta wait for it and roll them out. That's like 6 champions right there. Very good. Oh, and they're sending out 2 champions right there, or at least they're trying to. I don't think it's working very well. Oh, it looks like they have a couple of mages in their castle, but they really aren't doing enough good because we win. Ooh, it looks like the next stage is Cowboys. That's fun. Although it's probably gonna hurt quite a lot. So first we have a sheriff looking fellow rolling up here. They got little spurs on the back. Do the spurs jingle jangle? Man, even 3 champions can't really stack up to the marshals. And there's a sheriff right there. Oh my goodness, the big guy has a minigun? I sure hope that fires like a minigun. I'm just gonna wait for him to roll all the way up to the castle before calling in champions so we get as many as we can, which is only 4. This is some of the weirder spaghetti westerns I've seen. But now we can get to the cowboy age ourselves, so it's all spaghetti western for a little bit. Yay! I'm only upset that we don't get the guns right away. Instead, we just send in a martial deputy fellow. So we blaze right through the dinosaurs, right through the Egyptians as well. And then when we get to the knights, it might be time to upgrade our food production now. But we can get that all the way to 1.25 per second. That's some good news. Sending out 4 marshals here so we don't take any chances. And thankfully the knights don't really do that much damage to them. As for how much damage the champions do, it's enough to be reckoned with. So we'll just need to wait until we can send out 10 of these guys. And I think that should be enough to topple the castle, since they really don't send out enough knights. Now that we're done with that, we can hopefully match the deputies that are sending out here a little bit. Although it'd probably take like 5 to make any decent ground here. Just a whole bunch of billies smacking each other with billies. Either way, ooh, they do pretty good against the sheriff there. And then here we have the minigunner, which sadly only shoots 1 bullet at a time, but it's a powerful bullet. He's able to just one-shot the deputies. That is ridiculous. I need to get me one of those. Although if I get a similar round like that again, I can probably afford one without needing to buy the sheriff. So we'll just do that. Wait till we can send out like 6 of them or so. I just love that all of these tanks have spurs on them. It's like, what good are they gonna do? Does this imply that there's more horse tanks? And that somehow they need the spurs to get them going? This is starting to get some weirder lore than cars. Anyway, we have the... It's just Gatling. Not outlaw or anything, just Gatling. Oh, and that costs 21 food to make. That's gross. Although, since he can one-shot to deputies, let's just send him out right away. Oh, of course, they have just a tiny bit extra health, so it's not one shot. Lovely. At least they have a lot of hit points to make up for it. And this one guy is stalling them enough, so we can send out quite a few of them at a time. 4 of them. That is just a firing line right there. It's working so good. All 4 of them one-shot that single Gatling. That is beautiful. But the sheriffs still do enough damage to take them out reasonably quick. But now we're shooting their base. Yes. And we are collecting enough food here to send out 6? 5. At least that's a very effective 5, and 6 is right here. And they just have a permanent expression of like, eh. And I think that was all the cowboys, so we can actually move on to the next stage right here. At least to fight. Probably can't afford it yet. But that saloon goes up in flames, we double our earnings, and we are back to the modern military that shares the same building as the previous timeline. I see. Well, let's just put everything in the food production and see how we do. We have 2.1 food every second. That should really make sure we send out a lot of Gatlings. Oh my. That's a zombie. Okay, that's definitely not what I was expecting from a modern age, but it's a good thing we have guns then. And I don't even know what that is. It looks like it's a weird launcher thing. Okay, this is starting to get weird. This is what I was hoping for. Everything up to now has been kind of normal and expected. But now we have some weird pokey things that have a virus tank on their back. And these zombies are pretty overpowering. We got World War Z here or something. At least we got a nice amount of money out of it. And thankfully, after doubling it, we can advance to the next age, the zombie age, which leaves just whatever the future one is, and then we move on. Okay, so whatever space age is now a surprise to me. We just have to suffer through all the dinosaurs first. Thankfully, this one zombie is more than enough to take them out. Maybe this is what killed the dinosaurs. Where's my zombie game where it's a bunch of dinosaurs? Or, how about some more games that take place in Egypt? There was Origins, and then that was it. It's like, did they really just peak with that one? Well, I think this Egypt peaked right there. That got taken out really fast. But I think we're gonna need more than just one zombie to take out this castle, because that mage was actually poking him for quite a bit. At least the champions aren't even able to stand up to him. This weak zombie here could probably take him out. Yeah, he did. And before he goes away, we have enough food to send out 2 zombies, which should be all that we need to use. And sure enough it is. And I think that was the last of the medieval wave, so we got all the money we could out of that. But now we'll need to spend money to get more things produced. And the zombie isn't even called a zombie, it's called a brain tooth. Whatever that means. Now let's see if we can send out 4 or 5 of them before they start doing damage. And I think we can send out 5, so we'll send out 5. This is going to be a little tougher because there's 2 units in the cowboy age that have guns, and the guns do a decent amount here. But we are already breaking down their saloons, so that's a good sign. Although once they're taken out, we can send out 9 of these zombies. Or that's 10. Either way, it's a lot. Even the Gatlings can't do anything. Although they took out quite a few zombies before then, so good effort. You tried. But now we're just gonna take down your saloon, which sadly we can't get the ranged units yet, but we can unlock a lot of food, 2 food a second. So we should be able to overwhelm the first couple of waves with 6 zombies. Also, these launchers here roll pretty steady. They don't even really like shuffle like the other ones do. I'm not even sure really what you would call these, but I guess I'll find out because we were making a lot of money from this. Or we just do another wave and then get the big unit right away. I think I like that idea better because once you get the food production past a certain point, the big units are really all you need. So to that end, we'll send out a whole bunch of zombies again. That was about 7 initially, although those range units can do a lot of damage actually. And this big tank does even more damage. Thankfully though, we don't even have to double it to get the big unit here. We can buy right now. Wait, this is another brain tooth? Huh? Now I want to know what the range unit is called. Whether or not we'll find that out, I am not sure, but we're sending out 2 of these upgraded brain tooths right away. They don't even look the same. It's not like this one got a helmet slapped on him. They're just fundamentally different. Well, either way, we are just steamrolling through them again. And then we can get enough to send out 5 of these, hopefully. Just a little bit longer, and there's 5. So even if we lose here, we're getting a lot of money out of this. Look at that. We have over 1 million and I haven't even doubled it yet. And then we just wait a little bit longer and we can send out 5 more like so. And this guy over here might be the last unit. So we are getting full earnings from the zombie age. It just happens to take them a while to tear down that building. Could you hurry up, please? I got space to get to. At least they're done with that and we might as well double this. Oh my goodness. What sort of future is happening here? I feel like I'm about to start hearing Doom music. Oh, and it's a heckin' boy right there with a big power fist. Well, let's see how the big brain tooths measure up, and they measure up about on equal footing. Oh, and we have whatever that thing is. More battle horses things. Although that looks more like a llama. So yeah, we're fighting the powers of heck here. Okay, so what is the name of this middle unit? It's a thrower. We have brain tooth, thrower, and then brain tooth. I see. Well, we might as well save our money because we're actually halfway to leveling up to the apocalypse age, as it's called. It'd be kind of funny if the ultimate unit of this age was the Doomslayer, although it might be a bit before we realize that, and maybe sending out a thrower is actually worth it. It looks like it has a fair bit of range. I say it looks like it, but it just has the same range as everybody else. And you know, for being a future thing, these guys are still throwing spears. Thankfully, we just need a little bit more money to advance, which we get without needing to double it. And I won't do that because we lose all our money anyway. And here we are in the apocalypse age, around 2050. Mark your calendars. Now I wonder if the next timeline will have even more different things, but we'll have to fight through everybody to find out. So their cave just gets one shot by a grunt, and I think the Egyptians should be about the same. And bonk. Oh, it takes 2 shots. They get a little bit lucky that way. And we might need 2 units in this wave. We'll find out. Or maybe not. Look at how much damage he's doing to the castle. Just like that, they are done. But now here, I think we'll need to upgrade the food. He's an Ironfist. Well, at least we have way enough money to get to 1.5 food right away. So we can send out 3 of these guys. Overwhelming force, just with 3 of them. It actually looks like 1 unit is able to outdo the deputies entirely. So it's very overwhelming. Oh, and the poor sheriffs can't do enough damage. And they're not even getting attacked. Oh, beautiful. And then we'll just keep adding more food to the stockpile. Almost at 2. I gotta say, out of the tanks I've seen, this is the weirdest one. Just a big mouth agape zombie with more talon-looking claws than the T-Rex had. And the throwers are actually able to do quite a bit of damage to them, which is a little surprising that way. Now, can we get to 10 units before they roll up here? It's gonna be close, and we'll do it. Okay, that should be 10. Now they're in trouble. Look at that, there's so many guys trying to get to the front line to fight that we're actually pushing them back. That's a very good sight to see. Although we lose half of them before they reach the tower. But that just means that we get enough to send in even more units. There's about 8 right there, now there's 9. So we just do the same thing, and this guy's the last unit, so we win this. Getting the maximum amount of money from the zombies yet again. Now, as we're fighting ourselves, we actually have enough money to unlock the ranged unit here. An Infernal Spearman. Can we get to 2 food per second? We can, which is really good because these guys cost 22 food. We'll send out 3 melee units initially, and then a ranged unit to back them up. That should be enough for a little bit. And I do mean a little bit, that was quick. Now we should actually see what that big unit is, because I didn't last time. Hopefully we hold out long enough to actually see him. Oh, there he is. It's a big old dragon thing. Not what I was expecting, to be honest, but it still is gonna take quite a bit to unlock him. So let's just put everything we have into food. 2.5 every second now. This should be good. We'll work our way up to 4 units initially, and let's just send out 3 units right now for the giggles of it, which they did okay, but still nowhere near powerful enough to take this thing out. Is he ranged or melee? It looks like he's melee, doing big old bite attacks. And it seems to work the best to have a bunch of melee before bringing in the spear throwers, even though the melee kind of struggle. But at least this is giving us enough money to unlock the big dragon thing after we double it. So just like that, we have a dragon, a flame head, and we still have a lot to put towards food, which is good because these things cost 30. We can actually get 2 of them right now. So that should mean that we are going to steamroll them. Well, maybe not steamroll, but we'll do a lot of damage, especially to the ranged units. They just get chomped in 1 bite. And then we send out 4 of them, which is exactly what's needed against just 1 of theirs. That is ridiculous. But now we're able to get right up to their base, and their spear throwers are really struggling against us, but we are stacking up a lot of food here, and we're actually able to get their base down halfway before being taken out. Very good. Now we just need that much food, and we send out a whole army of flame heads. There is nothing they can do now, and there goes the last of their units. So we take out this infernal base here, and we win. So it doesn't matter how much money we have because we can jump the timelines now to whatever this is. The Ice Age. So would that make it sit on his head? Well, either way, I think you get the idea of how this goes, so we're gonna leave it there. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. Thank you very much for doing so, and sub to Intern. And thanks to the channel members including Bread, Corby Farm, Mr. Cripple 1, Dakota, Donamoto, Devion X, Lucas, Matthew, Hateful Harold, Peggy Sue, Drupalong, TJ, Seriously Sarcastic, Angel, Lily Bites, The Miner Within, DeGarry, Sans, Isaac, Miguel, and Zero Fox.